Tonight on the Black Channel, live from New York City, and it's not Saturday night, although it's closer to 8 p.m. than 8 a.m. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back. In many of your cases, welcome home. At the home, the haven, the stronghold, the everlasting super fortress of intelligent black thought. This is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from Times Square in New York City. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, well, first of all, if you did join us in New York City last night, as the late Don Cornelius said, there's a snow on gas, honey. First of all, I was honored and privileged to meet so many of you there in person. So for those of you who did not show up and said to yourselves, oh, well, what's the most that could possibly happen? What's the realistic chances I could miss it? What am I going to miss? You could probably miss a lot, actually. You probably could miss a lot there. So had a lot of folks there, man. They were looking good. They were feeling good. Most of them anyway there. Had a bunch of white folks walking by. And, what's going on here? And they do that all the time. That is one of my joys of opening my films in New York City, for example. That's one of my joys there, is when the folk are standing outside whatever theater it is. What is this going on here? And one of my folks there told them it's 8 a.m. Oh, 8 a.m. Good. Like she knows what it is. Like she knew what it was. So it's just, they come by and it's like, oh, they're all lined up. Y'all got to understand. See, we see a line of black people that were not called by white people. We see it totally different from them, man. See, when nobody would have asked you this if you were lined up for a job at AT&T, if you were lined up at a job fair, if you were at the bus station, if you were at AMC, nobody would ask you that. But if it's something that they don't know nothing about and they didn't call and they didn't organize and it's a line of black folk, don't y'all know what they're actually thinking is, is today the day? Mildred, it's a good thing I told you, damn it. We stocked up on rations and ammo. Today's the day. You thought I was just paranoid. Don't y'all know that's what goes through their minds when they see a line of us lined up somewhere and they didn't organize this? Is today the day? Hand me my Mossberg. Going down into the cellar like Cloverfield Lane. So you got to understand, their reaction to what they saw last night is totally different from yours, man. It's a bunch of black folk. We ain't out there looking all crazy. It's another bunch of folk with their pants sagging. It doesn't look like they're standing in line at the Gucci store or Foot Locker. It's like, oh boy, this doesn't look like a rap concert. This doesn't look like a rap concert to me. So it ends up being that. Yeah, the folk were asking you and your husband what's going on. It's that kind of situation when that happens. So there's that. Everybody got to come in there. They got to sit down. They watched the movie. Nice venue. There was a little bit of unpleasantness. There was some unpleasantness, which I will not digress into, but there was some unpleasantness. But other than that, the evening was otherwise stellar in that regard, and I decided to do something I don't think anybody thought possible or certainly didn't see coming. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and just stream Saturday's program from the theater? Why don't we do that instead of the usual situation? Because Last night, of course, they were not able to take pictures and things because the company that does, like Chris Rock's concerts and when the comedians come to town in New York City, the company that takes care of getting those cell phones and checking everybody's cell phones at the door, that was who I hired for this event. So the same people who do Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle and all the rest of those folk, Cat Williams, then when they come to town and things, well, when they do get them, that was the company I have for that. Although, of course, I do have an extra layer. So, of course, we just make sure that once they do give up the phones and stuff, we have security check just to make sure. By the way, did you really give? All right, did you give that up? Or is there another one we ain't seen? So everybody got up in there. Everybody was comfortable. Everybody was cordial there. I think everybody liked the film. I've gotten nothing but rave reviews about it. The response has been overwhelming. People really, really liked what they saw. It went in areas and into directions that people did not readily suspect it was going to, which is good. I've heard from people that it was comprehensive. It was insightful. You heard things you hadn't heard before. A number of folk who did not know either what a 360 deal was or didn't have the details about what it entails actually. That was kind of important there. Hearing Mahmoud Rauf's story from the time that he picked up a basketball until the time that he was banished from the NBA. When you talk about a narrative, putting that together, going in depth with Muggsy Bogues, putting that together. Mary Willingham, you all, for those of you who were not aware of her part in all of this, for those of you who've been watching the Black Channel now going on 20 years, you know that the NCAA not paying college athletes and name, image, likeness has been a crusade of mine now, going on 2 decades, because coming from Louisiana, I could have been one of those kids who went to college for that and would have been in that situation. So that was that not paying college athletes. Y'all know I've been on Nick Saban's bumper and the NCAA's bumper for going on 2 decades now in the public and beyond that privately to fix that situation. And I just wanted to show you that, by the way, we're not the only ones. There are other folk out there, and this is what's been going on. And take a look at what happened to her when she pushed, on that issue. So we talked to the principals here, really got in depth with that, with the music industry there. You heard it directly from the sources, from Dame, from Teddy, from Jada. You got it directly from the sources, exactly what's going on there. You know what Vegas is built off of? Losers. That's what this business is built off of. You're built off what you don't know. So things like that, very, very important. Very, very important. So definitely, I'm glad people came out. You saw it. They got a lot out of it. I wanted to have, now the thing was, seating in the venue. I had to arrange the seating a certain way because you all didn't know I was going to be there, but I knew I was going to be there. So I had to arrange the seating a certain way. So that was why I wanted to make sure, okay, we can only sell so many tickets because I want to reserve that front area. So I'm going to put my patrons and my special guests down there. Ms. Montgomery, special shout out to her. Eric, some other folk there. Thank you very much as well. Probably going to see about doing our roll call for here next weekend. Still getting some names and things together on that. So big, ambitious event. It was a very ambitious event last night. Very ambitious, well laid out, so I was very, very glad for that. Talk to the audience and then to stream it on here live. The audio might not have been perfect. That was not really my fault. And like I say, there was some unpleasantness that did occur after the fact. So maybe at some point I may go into some detail about that. Then again, I may not. It just depends on how it goes. But because I really want to go into some detail about it, but drama will ensue. So I'm probably better served staying off that subject if I ain't just going to go all in. So since I'm not going to go all in tonight, other than that nonsense, other than that, everything else, went great in that regard. People loved it. That was great. And the Q&A session afterward, I wanted to do documentary films for a while, and I wanted to do it well before, 2012. And the whole thing was just having a new medium and a new way of being able to do this. I did not do my documentaries because so much for the information content. It's really for the endorsement. Everything that I have been saying now for a decade and a half. Well, now I've brought you the principles. I've brought you the legends. I've brought you the icons. I've brought you names that you only saw on TV and in movies. And now they're telling you everything Jason's been telling you is correct. It's right. It ain't made up. This is what it is. So what do you do with it? What do you do with it? And we're going to have a little bit of a conversation about this tonight, about the retail politics of what this is and what this means. We're going to have a bit of a conversation about this. During last night's Q&A, and for those of you who tuned in to last night's program, by the way, I did see the chat room. So folks got caught off guard and by surprise. But when I ask you about the value of your bloodline, we're going to have to get real and get serious here for a moment. When I ask you about the value of your bloodline, when I ask you about honoring not your mother and your father, but your grandmothers and your grandfathers, when I ask about that and folks are not sure that they have anything of value to honor, I appreciate people just being brutally frank about it. But that's the whole reason for doing what I do. I can't be your courage or your drive or your motivation. You have to bring that. And if Mark Zuckerberg's got more drive and motivation than you or I do, we're already beat. So that's the reason for bringing this together for you, because you're capable of so much more than you think you are. Your children are capable of so much more than you believe they are. And so many people accept a lesser life and then they endorse it. And then they complain when other people don't. Yeah, it is an act of warfare. It's an act of warfare against yourself. It's an act of warfare against your own mind. It's an act of warfare against that. We see all these other people and witness the so-called great things that they've done. By the way, what's your excuse? What's yours? You've got that ability, even if you don't think so. So holding the program like I did last night, that kind of put some folks on the spot, man. Kind of put some folks on the spot. You know, ask some questions there, and it's like, wow, did you think about that? Put some folks on the spot, but we should. And it means that much to me, but by the way, we should. We should have some folks think this kind of thing over because it's important. Especially with folks there with their kids. To be totally honest with you here, like I said last night here, I'm kind of almost over the documentary thing because I'm not using that as a political tool. I don't make documentaries as a political tool to convince people. In my mind, I'm doing it to validate things. Gentrified had some educational efforts to it. The Q&As can be educational, but after we finish talking, okay, it's time to get to the doing. After we finish talking, it's time to get to the doing, man. It's time to get to the doing. And what we witnessed last night is that even the so-called people around, me, and by that I mean folks who listen to the program, they show up and whatnot, how many of them even think their bloodline is something worth, saving or contributing to? How many of them actually believe that? And then again, how many are sitting there and they don't actually believe that at all? Little unsettling, a little frightening. But I thank people for being honest about it. I hope in particular that the women were paying attention to that. I have a predominantly male audience. I just want the women to be paying attention to that. I wanted them to be paying attention to that. We had some women in the audience last night who had some information and some insights and whatnot. A couple of them were realtors. That's great. That's wonderful, especially in New York City. That's great. That's wonderful. The fellows were asking questions. I'm like, hey, by the way, is she back there? We had one woman here did skilled trades, and the fella asked about it. I'm like, by the way, is she back there? Get up and go talk to her. I had to tell him 2 or 3 times. By the way, she's back there. Get up, go talk to her right now. No, do not leave this theater before you make another connection. Jason's up there in the front. Okay, she right there behind you. Turn around, talk to her. That's important. Let me find out something here. How many of you all are still in New York right now? Let me find out. Let me get the alarm clock emoji in the chat room. If you are still in New York City from seeing 8 a.m. right now, give me the alarm clock emoji in the chat room. Give me the alarm clock emoji if you're still in New York City and from seeing 8 a.m. That's what I want to know. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and open up the Zoom. Let me go ahead and open up the Zoom for you all here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Zoom here. I want some of the folks who saw 8 a.m. last night. Some of you who saw 8 a.m. last night, I want you to go ahead and I want you to go ahead and call me up on Zoom. I know Elijah's sitting around right now. Oh, good, brother. It's my turn. Okay. You know, I know he's sitting right there. He's sitting right there with his finger ready for the Zoom button. So, you know, he's right there. But got to meet brother Elijah last night. So that's good, too. Got to meet him last night. I had to hold him to one question, though. I'm like, okay, Elijah, hey, brother, I'm on the clock up in here. I'm paying by the hour in this place. So I can't let you do what you usually do there. So you got me by the hour now. Don't do what you usually do there. Very, very important to have that. I got somebody up here on Zoom now. Let me see if I can get Menka Farah up here on Zoom. All right, Menka. I hope I'm saying that correctly here. Menka Farah. Yeah. Is that right?
Menka Farah.
All right.
Can you hear me? Am I okay? Good.
Yes, sir. We hear you. What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, I was there last night. I can't say that I'm not disappointed in myself. I have a lot more talent than I've exploited. I'm a grown man. I'm not giving up, though. I'm actually inside a cafe that I invested in a couple of years back. So I'm here cleaning up because we don't have the best staff. So
okay, well let me find out, brother. You sound like you got a New York accent. Are you in New York?
Yeah, I'm in New York. I live in New York. Yeah.
Okay. Which borough?
Well, I'm in Queens.
Okay, cool. That's actually a very good place to be, by the way, because we actually have a much longer drawn out conversation about that if we're going to talk about New York. I can't do it tonight. I've been talking to some people, over the past 24 hours about my ideas about New York and what my insights are as far as where the economy is going. I will say this right now. Those of you who are either in the Bronx or Queens, economically speaking, hang on to what you got. If you're in those areas, if you got any real estate or turf there, hang on to it. What I predicted for you all is exactly the way it's going down. Manhattan is the commercial hub. All the commercial money is crossing over into Brooklyn. All of the residential money is going to go over into the Bronx because there's more real estate. And you're going to see the mixed real estate, mixed commercial and residential. That's going to be Queens and Staten Island. That's going to be them. Because the Amazon project didn't work in Long Island City. So Queens, where the airports are, but you have a lot of residential there too. So that's going to end up ultimately being mixed. So the new money's going to come in. It's going to be but just mixed more than it is. So those of you who are already there, I predict it's going to be easier for you to hold what you got as opposed to trying to run around. So for those of you who are particularly in Queens and the Bronx, though you'll be last, but it's coming like a tsunami. It's coming for you.
It's already started, brother. I'm in South Jamaica.
Oh,
so
well,
right across from the Long Island Railroad, they have an area where they're building some stores. They have the racetrack betting, like a kind of like an OTB. It's a Resorts World. I guess it's the off-site betting, something like that. They have that there.
Yeah, well, you're seeing the signs of people coming in early investing. So
yeah. I mean, but I'm seeing luxury apartments going up. As a matter of fact, because I am in real estate, so I showed somebody a hole in the wall. I mean, it's a beautiful building with a gym downstairs. It's lovely, but it was what do you call it, studio, and they wanted like $2,150 or something a month for a studio, and it was small too. But there's a lot of luxury buildings going up now. Right over there, right around the Long Island Railroad right there. So you got the Sutphin Archer, JFK. So you got the air train that goes to JFK. You got the Long Island Railroad.
That renovation that they did at LaGuardia, That
Yeah,
whole renovation out there, LaGuardia, that was
yeah.
big money, huge money, and that was another beacon right there for commercial real estate development in that area.
If I can mention something too, because I'm on the Southeast Queens Chamber of Commerce, and we're fighting to get greater allocations of funds to Black folks. I mean, there's Caribbeans and all that stuff on there, and I'm a non-FBA myself, but I'm fighting to get money for the people, the residents of South Queens, because it's mostly Black, but the money is going to other folks. Like for one of the things, one of the slick tricks that males will do is that their wife qualifies as a minority, so she'll
Yep.
have a business, and then what they'll do is she'll go get the MBE, which is the Minority Women's Enterprise or something like that grant. She'll get the she'll get the certification, and basically it'll be for him. He's going to use the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
we're trying to thwart some of those things. I mean, I've met with the comptroller several months ago, and they did their little photo op. So they came down, asked us what the problems was. We rattled off about how we're not getting the money and we're getting shut out and this and that. And basically, somebody that used to work for the controller, I had his number. He was like, that was just for show. You watch next year, they'll come out with the report, and it's going to be the same as it was this year, because this was for him to act like he's doing something, but he's really not trying to do anything for you guys. And I was like, wow, I
Right.
appreciate
And
you
and
telling me that.
here's my thing. And I'm doing this as an update tonight here about a little bit of our strategy on things.
Hmm.
We get people who call me up from time to time and they say, reparations needs to be in the form of land. Now,
Okay.
I actually I after going to New York and some of these places that have been gentrified to hell, particularly with the situation you all are in, where you got big commercial right across the street from residential and things, or big commercial right next to small commercial. I understand why there are so many people who say that coming out of Chicago and New York, because you know, if you were able to stay there, tax free or whatever, that would be a huge help to you all. Just that one thing alone would basically eliminate a whole majority of the pressures on you all that otherwise would be happening, and make you a lot, basically, I don't want to say guarantee your viability, but that would go a long way towards it, because that's a huge headwind in that regard. So I wanted everybody to know, when you hear folks say those kind of things, even though in a lot of cases they may not be practical, the folks who usually say it are in places like New York, Chicago, things like that. So I can understand a little bit more of the rationale they say behind that. Not that you don't need money. You do need money. You definitely need funding. But also for the real estate that you do have, you got other factors that are directly, going at that. So, of course, having more money helps across the board. But I can see why I get that kind of thing so often, because yeah, there is a big movement, to divest you, particularly from the land. If even if you are able to get some, there's a big momentum against that.
Listen, brother, there are illegals that set up shop on underpasses, man. They out there, they cooking, grilling. They got their little tents. They got all types of stuff. And then, because I'm in like the hub, I'm close to everything. So I'm in like the center. I'm close to the Rufus King Park. I mean, the train station is like a 10, 15-minute walk from me. There's a Home Depot, and you know who's at Home Depot. And
Oh
then, of
yeah.
course, not too far from Home Depot is a U-Haul. So I have a storage unit there. Every time I go, there's Africans too. There's a
Yeah.
lot of Africans, believe it or not. Like, hey, brother, you want some help? You want? And I'm like, I'm just going in there to pay the bill or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy out here, man. It's a whole
no, for those of you who haven't been to New York in the last couple of years, it's nothing but a bunch of South American chicks with halter tops and a bunch
you
of
know.
dudes with their work boots on running around here now. It's a
And,
whole
and
new
you know
level.
what else is prevalent out here? Because I'm in Queens. There's a lot of Asians out here in Queens.
Dude,
There's brothels everywhere. I mean,
dude,
24-hour spots, and nobody messes with them.
y'all.
I go, I go by and I see the light open, and then they got the massage picture. and it's like block after block. It's crazy.
Bruh, I was about to mention that, y'all. It looks like Seattle over here in Times Square now. The Asian presence is super heavy. The Asian
Yeah.
presence is heavy. I'm talking about it's 50% Asians outside my window right now. 50%. I'm not
Okay.
even exaggerating. You know I'm not. 50% Asians sitting out here in Times Square right now. It is incredible.
Well, you see
I
them a lot more. But
do,
I'm saying, and they don't live in where I am in Queens. They just have them
And I know
scattered. You
they
know,
ain't
like
all.
the
I know
Chinese
they're not
food.
all here for Comic Con because I asked them when I was in the elevator. So I know that that's not what they're not for Comic Con. They,
Nah,
dude,
nah.
fella told me he came over here from Shanghai. Another one said he was over here
Hmm.
from Hong Kong. Another one said he was over here from Guangzhou. So I'm like, okay, they're not. These are not the Comic Con tourists. These are
Nah.
my kinfolk and skin folk.
And that's crazy because you got the China's trying to spy on us type thing, and they just letting them in here. Like,
Dude,
was it you that showed at the border where they had those Asians, the grown men that looked like they were military age, coming here fully dressed in clean clothes?
yeah, I covered that too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
in
I
Del
remember
Rio, in
that.
Del
That
Rio, Texas. Yeah, they showed them there.
Texas,
But
yeah, that
here,
broadcast coming
here's the
across the
killing thing,
border.
brother. Yeah, there's some of them come across the border, but the majority of them ain't got to do that no more. They don't have to do that anymore. Let me tell y'all something. Here's the issue. All they really have to do is make it to American soil, period. Whether they come from the southern border, whether they come to the northern border, whether they come through Seattle. If you can get to Seattle, you can get to New York. So all they
Mm.
want to do is just get on the land. Once they get here, if nobody arrests them, that's it. They're mobile. They're mobile, and they're gonna get around. And here's my thing. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of Asian females up here with their BBLs. What? I mean, this dude, I'm serious, y'all. That
No,
is for
I've seen them too.
real,
I've seen
dude.
them
It's just
too.
like, okay, what we selling? But I'm like, you just said what we selling. But my thing is, I've seen, yeah, okay. It's one thing to see the females up here. It's like, all right, they got the massage shops. I've seen
Hmm.
majority. I'm seeing is Asian males. I mean, the majority I'm seeing is Asian males.
Okay.
They're in all the 5-star spots. They're in all the restaurants there. I mean, they moving. They're moving in groups. So they ain't playing, bro. They're organized. They own code. They're doing their thing and moving like they moving. So they're already together. They're already together. They're already together and on code and organized already.
It's. I mean, if you're not seeing it right in the wall, man, it's crazy. Also in the Bronx, like you had mentioned the Bronx, because I used to drive up there, um, a lot, just going, either going to visit my friend in Jersey or something like that. And I noticed on the Deegan a huge development being built, going up the Deegan, going north on the Deegan towards either going to Connecticut or you go to Jersey. And at one time it just hit me. I'm just seeing, all the huge, the metal beams and all that stuff. It was open, but I was like, wait a minute. And then, I see some little things going on there. You know what I mean? Even though I don't live there, so I'm not out there as much, but I see a lot. Even because I had lived out there for 10 months, and down the block there's a shopping center from where I was on Park Avenue, and there was a small like a apartment complex going up because there's like a project right next to it, but they're building something else there. And then there's a hotel that they're revamping and stuff like that. I see it coming. I see it moving up the Deacon. That's the next. That's next.
What's the name of your spot, brother?
Oh, this is Amsterdam.
I mean, I'm talking about the name of your cafe.
Yes, Amsterdam LLC, Amsterdam
Okay.
Coffee, Amsterdam Coffee Shop. Yes. So
Where can folk find you at?
well, if you in Long Island, if you're ever in the Westbury areas, Westbury, New York, is 311 Post Avenue. 311 Post Avenue, Westbury, New York. So it's the Espresso Cafe. It's mostly breakfast food and stuff like that, but it's a beautiful spot. I mean, I could pan around and show you.
Okay, give me just a moment. Let me turn the zoom on for everybody because they can't see you right this
Okay.
moment.
Oh, okay.
I don't just put
I
people on
got
the
you.
screen automatically.
Now
All
I
right,
got you. Yeah.
there you go. Now you're on. Everybody can see
Okay,
you
so
now.
I'm panning around, so it's nighttime. You can see the owner put up the decorations for the fall, but you see, we got, well, we do have a license for cannabis, but the regulations changed, so we're not selling that right now.
Yeah, that's
But
another funky little
yeah,
situation in New York.
yeah, but this is it. The menus are off and everything like that. We got digital menus over here. We got music in here. As you can see, the Jamaican flag, the proprietor's Jamaican, and my parents are Jamaican as well. But and most of the time we have Blue Mountain coffee on tap. But you could see it. It's a nice place. People like it. I'm pretty good with the customer service. When I came on a couple months back, the reviews went up, the customer service improved and things of that nature. But I got a hard headed, listen, you know, Caribbean, I guess semi partner. He's hard headed and he has some of the characteristics that you have described about Caribbeans. And I was like, God damn, man. I'm not like him, but
Well, being on code is a must. Being on code is
yeah,
very, very important, and that's what I want folks to have there. So this is the Espresso Cafe, or is the name Espresso Cafe or Amsterdam? Which one is it?
it's Amsterdam. It's
Okay,
Amsterdam coffee shop, or just Amsterdam. It just says Amsterdam on the outside.
okay.
You
Amsterdam
know,
Coffee Shop. There's 320 Post,
311,
311 Post, 311
Yeah.
Post. All right,
Yeah, so I
311
mean, if you're in the
Post.
area, come out. If you say, I got a discount for you. If you say, I saw you on the Black Channel or something like that, I could pull up something in there for you if I happen to be here.
All right, brother. Well, like I said, I want to
Yeah.
see about what time do you open?
7:30 to 4:30 every weekday, and then we do 8:30 to 3 on the weekend.
All right. Well, look here. I'm gonna see about sending one of my people out there in the morning. I'll see about
Oh,
sending one of my people out there in the morning. I want to see what's going on. So,
I
because
appreciate that,
y'all, it
man.
is
Yeah, definitely.
hell to get out of here. It is the only reason. Like, if I show up, I got Louisiana license plates. Everybody knows me. But
Right. Yeah,
it's
send
hell.
me
My,
your
my
people if you want. Yeah, that's cool.
one of my trucks is being held hostage in one of these parking garages over here and whatnot. They supposed to be 24 hours. I went up there. The man ain't there. So it's just my truck is currently being held hostage. So I'm still trying to work on getting that done. But so I'm not mobile like I really want to be, and I'm not going on the subway. It's just the subway is no man's land for me. But I'm gonna have one of my people go by there and take a look at it. I encourage all of y'all to go check it out. We want to have folks who are on code with us here. It's a very nice
Thank you.
spot you got there. As a matter of fact, I'm expecting to see the white women coming through there doing Pilates. So
Well, they come in here. They love their cappuccino. I make a good cappuccino. So,
okay, hey, bro, that's the lick right there. That's what you do. So yes,
yeah.
ma'am. That's what she want
Yeah,
to be.
yeah, listen, man. I am the nicest person when they come in. I am super custom. That's why I said the reviews went up. At least when I'm here. You know, so I'm looking to train some staff, but we got to bring in more customers. But I gave him some ideas, but he's hard headed, man. I think he's kind of an egomaniac, so he wants to be the cause of the customers coming in. And I told him you got to go to the people because he's been open 4 years. I just came on, and I want to go out to the areas around. There's two office buildings and there's two apartment complexes. I want to go sample the coffee to the people so they can first off so they can know we're here, and if they like it, then they could come in and patronize us. There's people that come in all the time and say, "How long are you brand new?" And I'm like, "No, we've been here 4 years." You know, and they're like, "Really? I don't know about you." And I'm like, "How are you going to be here 4 years in the neighborhood?"
Well, like I said, it sounds like you might have to move somebody out the way. We'll see how it goes for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I don't
doing
want
some
to
things
say
on my
too
own.
much there, but I'm just like,
No, I mean,
sound like you might have to.
he's the financial resource. That all the money comes from him. So it's me. I'm like the marketer and the customer service guy, and I do the TikToks to get the message out. I mean, that's me. So I can get the customers in here, and he just need to finance it.
Well, if you're the face of the joint, that's powerful as well. By the way, just like Famous Amos, if when you're the
Yeah,
face of the
yeah,
joint,
yeah.
folks, that's the brand right there. Is when they see that, that's more powerful than money in a lot of regards. Of course, you need your money,
Well,
but by the way, being
yeah,
the
well,
face of something, it means something.
well, that's what I'm looking at. Is build a brand. He don't understand that.
Well, you understand it, so keep your head
Yeah, I'm
on.
gonna get to work. Man,
Thank
I
you
gotta
very much
fight
for
him.
giving us a call, brother. We appreciate that. Like I say, if folks are not listening, you might need to give them a little help listening. You might need a little bit of help. All right, Amsterdam, 311 Post. Gonna see about checking it out for real. And let me say something else here right now. Don't come in my chat room with none of that damn tether stuff when folk are on code. Some of y'all are sitting up here and whatnot. You need to get your head on straight about that. The class clownism, I don't play that garbage. Somebody's on code, you don't sit up here that you don't throw that word around for folks who are on code, dumb nigga. Be the class clown somewhere else. Some of y'all chicks out there, y'all was smoking crack back in the 80s and 90s. Your damn sons out here today running in the damn lamp posts and hitting their heads on the kitchen sink. Tether. Sir, what's the context? I don't know. He says he's from Jamaica. That's not the definition, dummy. It's like talking to that damn dog from Family Guy. Let me go ahead and see if I can get over here on Zoom. Is it Virgilio? Okay, the damn police are out here. That's another thing about New York City. Taxi cabs and sirens, y'all. Taxi cabs and sirens. That's what all New York City does now. Taxi cabs honking and sirens blaring at you. How would you ever know it's an emergency in this city? How would you ever know when everybody's honking and blaring at you all the time? All right, brother, is this Virgilio on Zoom? Let me see. I'm waiting for that. Okay, Virgilio, you're on Zoom. What's on your mind? Virgilio, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Okay,
The live broadcast.
okay, now I can hear you.
I was there last night. You kind of caught me off guard bringing the patrons up front, but it was definitely. This is actually my second event. I did a race war. I had my family with me the last time, a couple cousins. This time, unfortunately, couldn't bring them. They just actually watching my son. I wish I could have brought him. But thank you for the program. Thank you for answering my questions. Your consistency is, like I said, it is definitely inspiring for my family. Like I say, even though they don't listen all the time, I'm talking about I'm feeding them a bunch of information. I actually played the playback from last night this morning when I was home with some of my family, so they can so we can kind of get to work, because there's a lot of things that you talked about that definitely want to get going. So,
well, like I say, I mean, all you gotta do is do something with it. People are going to follow your example, not your advice. And if the fellas show that they're going to do something, and it doesn't take a whole lot, to be totally honest, it doesn't take a whole lot. If folks see you moving something, you're acting on it, you fellas would be surprised how much positive response you will get from 20% of results. Not even just doubling your efforts. If you just change what you're doing by 20%, 30%, just that right there, that is a noticeable difference. That's like if you gain 30 pounds, people would notice. If you have a 30% change in what you're doing, people notice. That right there is enough for people to start having faith in you. Just that right there. If you can do, because they know if you can do 30%, you can do 100.
Yeah, and then you got to be ready also for, I wouldn't say the expectations, but just more so like you're showing them that you're able to do it. Now they want to see more.
That's
also,
the real
if
issue.
If you're a competitive person, you're definitely going to rise to the occasion.
You just knocked it out of the park right there. When you show people that when you say something and you're going to do it, that, yeah, he said it, yeah, but he did it. That gives your word its validity there. It's like he didn't talk about it, he doing it. That is, you just knocked it out of the park. That's the most powerful thing right there, is that when you do what you say you're going to do. Because that stuff's not easy for me, man. Can I be real with y'all for a minute? I got hit with a bunch of last minute expenses. I'm talking about that's why I'm saying there's been some unpleasantness. But I got hit with a bunch of last minute expenses. And I'm not talking about hundreds of dollars. I mean thousands of dollars in New York City in Times Square. At the last minute. Jason defined last minute. Friday. The day before. No notice, no anything. So in folk who live in New York City, they can imagine, that happening. Well, I'm not from here. So imagine somebody ambushing you with that the day before. Maybe they thought I wouldn't be ready. Maybe they thought I wouldn't take into account. Of course I did. Am I happy? No, absolutely not. But I got to do it because I told you all what was going to happen Saturday. Do you live in New York?
Well, I'm originally from New York, born and raised Staten Island. Just recently moved to Pennsylvania. So
okay, so you came from Pennsylvania.
I'm back in New York now. So.
Okay, so if you came from Pennsylvania, you're in New York, if you live up there, whatever. But for those of you who came from out of town, you pay for your plane tickets, you pay for your hotels and stuff. You can't get that back. So if there's nothing for you to see, it was a blank trip for you. Even if somebody made it very, very difficult on me, you all would be paying the price for it as well. Now that's not to say that I can deal with everything impossible, but if you tell folk you're gonna do something, you gotta do it, man. You gotta do it. That carries veracity. Folks will be sympathetic to your plight after you finish getting it done. So if we make sure we specialize in keeping our damn word, making sure that when we say something is gonna happen, if you tell them you're gonna pay it, you're gonna pay it. If you tell them he's gonna build it, you're gonna build it. If you tell them you're gonna whoop their ass, you whoop their ass.
And deal with it, nigga.
If you say this is what it's gonna be, this is what it's gonna be. That's how our word starts taking on gravity and validity. That right there. You said a mouthful with that. If you say it and you do it, that's the foundation of being taken seriously right there. And there's so many things that don't involve money that we can do that with. There's just so many things that don't involve money. Getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning consistently, that doesn't cost you anything. Dropping your bad habits, that don't cost you anything. You know, just stuff like that. That shows people you really believe this. So you said a mouthful, brother. You said a mouthful.
You called it last night too. It's that you said that $1 billion effort pretty much. It's
Yeah, $1 billion. You don't have to have $1 billion to have $1 billion work ethic.
Yeah.
And people will see this withdrawal. That's what people, that's what people have always historically admired about the black Muslims. That discipline that Elijah Muhammad insisted on. Even with no money, you can see that. That's $1 billion of discipline that you can see in them fellas, when they on point. That's $1 billion of discipline right there. That speaks for itself. Even without all the money and stuff, when people see your behavior and your attitude, that means a lot. That means a lot. Well, I want to thank you for coming into town, and checking it out and everything. I hope it met your expectations. If you have any children, my goal was to put together something that when your child is 10, 12, 14 years old and watches this, if they're thinking about sports, music, retail, or anything, or just being their own, not just so much their own boss, but being an investor of owning something, that this will explain to them why it's important with some real world examples they can understand and incorporate into themselves. So if I did that, then I succeeded in my goal.
Much appreciated, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. If I was able to communicate that and get that across, then I succeeded at my goal. All right, let me go ahead and check and see who I have here next on Zoom. Okay. Oh, is this Brother Elijah?
Yes, sir.
All right, Brother Elijah, we got you on the line. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, brother, I wanted to well, before I do anything, hey, good evening to you and the B1 family. All right, love all of you. All right. Also, that was when I went to the premiere of 8 a.m. That was the best experience of my life as of this year alone. All right, nothing trumps that. I just want to start with that. I wanted to further expand on what you just said about living out here in New York City, and also with our big brother, the first caller, who owns a coffee shop, and I'll have the pleasure of supporting soon. Brother, you said it right with the Bronx and Queens, when as far as Black people and that we're safe. I would really want to throw in Staten Island also, but particularly what you said with the Bronx and Queens, when these gentrifiers come into the neighborhood, I lived in different cities, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and everything like that, a little piece of DC. They always crowd around the transit areas. They always crowd where our brother lives at in South Jamaica, and he was spot on because I always go around that area. He was spot on. They're building that particular area because it's a straight shot from the airport to Manhattan and everything like that. That's the actual hub. South Jamaica, where the brother lives at, that's a transit desert. They're not really going to a lot of Black people who live in Queens or in the Bronx, even in the Bronx. That's a transit desert. You have one train per area. White folk, the only thing they have that white folks are the gentrifiers are gonna take over is really, like how you said, the South Bronx. They're building that left and right. the same behavior we see in DC. They only crowding around the immediate areas that'll take you straight to the downtown and everything like that. And my question is, that's what even you was bringing that point up, even out there in Los Angeles, with that how they got our brother Nipsey out the way and everything like that, and they actually opened that train line. Now we're starting to see there ain't no more Crenshaw and Slauson and everything like that. It's starting to look like Crenshaw Village over there.
Oh yeah, I mean the places that you would consider to be the most dangerous, the places that typically historically been you think are just foreboding, that you would never see a chick, you know, with her little wiener dog, you know, going to Pilates or something like that. The kind of thing that folks would normally associate with that and think, oh, that would quote unquote never happen. It's like, yeah, man, no, that those are the places they'll go to first, bro. Wherever is the cheapest real estate, when you start seeing them putting public services out there and making a connection, particularly from the downtown area to wherever you at, oh, that you have been targeted. You the ones where you at, that's what we want right there. So they built a beeline where they can just bypass everything else and just go straight to where you are. Next thing you know, it'll be a subway line or whatever where there's nobody's going to be on it with them because there's nothing out there for you. They own it all.
Yes, sir.
Where they going, and it'll be the last stop. Oh yeah, one more thing, and that'll be the last stop. There won't be a stop beyond that. So the only thing it can do is take you to where they are. That's all it'll be able to do.
Yes, sir.
And it's engineered. It's not accidental.
Yes, sir. And to also further add, big brother, even when you was breaking it down with the pardon me, I'm trying to get my thought together. Even when you was also when you was breaking it down yesterday, even in the documentary, even with these little 360 deals, and then now I started to see the effects of gentrification even in the entertainment industry. A lot of Black American brothers and sisters, give or take, also some of our Caribbean brothers and sisters, not taking our right. They started to get more business savvy, and now when I look at great men like Teddy Riley and everything like that, you don't really see him too much coming out with new material. It's not his fault, but I started to see now they pushed a lot of us to the side as far as R&B and everything like that. And now who's our new R&B? Afro beats. All right. We still probably have a little bit of hip hop. That's fine. But
well, here's the real thing though.
Yes,
the real
sir.
thing is that our experience has not been most of these other folks' experience.
Yes,
so the Leor Cohens of the world, they can't get over on us like they used to.
Yes,
That's
sir.
why they're targeting these other folks. So it's like, well, you look like them people we've been getting over on but can't get on over anymore. So that's an easier product for them to co-opt and sell because
Yes,
they
sir.
can't do that with us anymore. And we're not signing all these old crazy ass bad contracts either. There's the other thing. They can't really get us to sign those contracts like they used to do. These other folks, I mean, they'll sign it for a green card. No shade, no insult, but I'm just talking about you get the right one. They'll sign it for a green card. And that's the whole point. They a lot of them will make the assumption, oh, these white folk will take care of me. We don't have that assumption. And so that's the reason why we're not as easy of a mark as we used to be. Now we're a lot harder of a mark. So that's the real reason for their trying to pivot to these other things. Mark my words, sir. When them folks start imitating us when it comes to these deals and when it comes to them contracts, they're going to stop giving them an alley-oop too. They're going to stop that with them and see if they can pivot to something else. So that's what it's really about.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't have to be great anymore. At least if we, that's what I'm saying. It's major things. Okay, I'm glad I'm saying this here tonight. When you put out something there, I wanted to mention this before. There's a singer out there. Her name is Kirby.
Yes, sir.
I mentioned this before. I'm a patron. I mentioned this here tonight. When I talk about the second coming of Erykah Badu For those of you who never heard of Kirby, you can go to her Instagram, Sing Kirby Sing. That's Sing, S-I-N-G, Kirby Sing. If y'all have never heard of her, I mean, she ain't trying to twerk her way through nothing. She ain't trying to booty shake her way through nothing. And when I tell you the second coming of Erykah Badu, go listen to her and tell me if I'm lying. Now, when you say something like that, the second coming of Erykah, if she ain't got the goods, you gonna be on my ass about it.
Yes,
Jason,
sir.
you sure did something overblow that. Go listen to her and see what that's about. And what I'm saying is her numbers are nowhere near, technically speaking, what you would expect from a Nicki Minaj or whatever. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. That's fine. Because real talent hooks you like that. And she don't have to sign, as long as she doesn't sign a bad deal or something like that, you're preserving the value of it. That's what we need to focus on. I've said this here before. I want y'all to understand something. We are not a Walmart product. What? Our talent and our abilities, we've been letting folks devalue it. Going into the movie studios and the music studios and putting out a cheap product. That's not us. We're the Prada. We're the Hermes. The Michael Jacksons and the Ella Fitzgeralds and the baby faces. We're the Hermes of these things. When you talk about the NBA, NFL, or whatever, we are the Hermes of that. We're not the Michael Kors. We're not the Coach. That's
Yes,
not
sir.
us. So when we start moving and stuff, we need to make sure that it is one of our principles. We don't put out no simple music, just a thunderous bass line and somebody banging on the damn triangle. That needs to be outlawed. It's like, okay, dude, if you ain't got at least 5 or 6 instruments in here, that doesn't qualify as a song with us. Like Jay-Z said, that we don't call that money over here. Hey, dude, that drill stuff, we don't call that music over here. That's cool what y'all doing over there with them little young boys, what y'all doing from, all right, that's all right. We don't call that music over here. You ain't got nobody who can sing in harmony. We don't call that music over here. You ain't never heard of a snare drum. We don't call that music over here. You don't know what a violin is. We don't call that music over here. That's cute what y'all doing all that. We don't call that music over here. We don't. Do what you do. Do what you do over there, but that's not us. So that's important for us to know that that's our trademark. When you talk about being from the foundation, that's our trademark. Elaborate, intricate, details. That's our trademark. And that's what gives us value. That's why we can't sign any old deal. You can't come to us with some dude sitting there banging away on the Casio. We can't do that. I can't have it. Get somebody else to go and sell that old Simple Simon stuff. We are an ultra luxury product. We're an ultra luxury product. Just like you hear our stuff for 2 seconds, that's it, you're hooked. And that's what it's supposed to be. You want to talk about a culture, that's our culture. We're not simplistic. So that's something else I want y'all to learn. But if y'all never heard of Kirby, you can go to her Instagram, Sing Kirby Sing. By the way, you're welcome. I'll let you have the last word.
Hey, big brother. Also, thank you so much. And I'm gonna land my plane. With the brother when he was also mentioning, thank you that my thought came back. When the brother was mentioning how he was trying to talk to the, I believe to the comptroller and everything to try to get more funding for the Black residents in New York City. I gotta just tell the honest to God truth. Black people have been politically irrelevant in New York since the beginning of the Giuliani administration. Untrue. Oh, okay.
Untrue statement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Untrue statement.
Statement. Please correct me,
no,
big brother.
Yeah, because irrelevant is a word. I sound like Joe Budden's old girlfriend. Irrelevant is a word. She said Joe is insignificant, not irrelevant. We are not irrelevant in New York. Now, the power has been greatly compromised, absolutely. But
yes,
we
sir.
are not irrelevant in New York. Please remember, if you're talking about numbers, I have to remind you all, Jewish people are a minority no matter where they go. They are always a single digit group everywhere they go. Asians too, by the way, except in certain areas. So they don't even reach double digits in most areas. And we never refer to them as irrelevant. Think about that for a few moments. They're single digits, not low double, single.
Yes, sir.
And yet we never describe them as irrelevant. Why? There's one key difference. We all recognize them as being organized. Their own code. That's the real thing that's missing. So it's not so much that if you want to say irrelevant, I guess until you get organized. If you're not organized, then you're not very influential. But no, it's not that we're just irrelevant. And like I said, with the brother who called up here earlier, I see that every time I come to New York. When you turn on the news in New York, there's always some meeting that's being called where some black folks are sitting there in the city council or whatever, somewhere in New York, hollering at folks about things. And that's what you're supposed to do. By the way, that's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
We're supposed to be visible. We are supposed to be that. The real issue that we've had, where it fails in New York, unfortunately, is that when we do start getting folks together, is about having a solid idea of exactly what it is you're supposed to get. That's the real thing. So if it's going to be about money, it can't be about land. It can't be about food stamps. It can't be about education vouchers. If you're going to get some money, that's what it's got to be. It's got to be, we don't give a damn how y'all get it done. That's what we're looking for. That's why when COVID kicked off, the Asians, all they got was checks cut. Did you hear anybody talking about giving them land, giving them education vouchers, giving them health care? No, it's okay. Get that money rolling.
Yes, sir.
But that's because they made it clear we don't want to talk to you about anything except getting some money moving. When black folks show up, there's a number of us who will say we need the money to be moving. And then you got some others who jump up, well, we need some land, we need some crypto, we need some fire escapes. That's the real issue that I see. Or get some old folk in there, we need some health care, need some medications. Things like that. So when you clear in California, the reason why reparations became an issue out there is because we cleared everything else off the agenda. They wasn't able to sit up here and get us to talk about nothing else. We didn't want to talk about scholarships. We didn't want to talk about the children. We didn't want to talk about prescription drugs. We said, cut that check. That was the only thing that we were talking about. And what do you know? Everything got focused. Didn't say they didn't push back. I didn't say they didn't try to change the subject. But what happened in the end? Oh, we focused. So that's the way it works. That's the way it works. Sir. I'll let you have the last word.
All right, no, big brother, I'm landing my plane because there's other brothers and sisters who need to talk to you. All right, B1, excellent broadcast, and thank you for letting me on. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, Brother Elijah. Pleasure to meet you there in person. Yeah, definitely. Like I say, being organized is a very, very key thing, but also, being on the same page. You can't have, 2 million black folk in New York City and 2 million separate agendas. That's the thing right there. When you lock down, it's like, okay, there's only one agenda. There's only one thing we want to talk about. We have no interest in discussing anything else. That's when you get folks focused, and that's when you get folks together. Right there. I didn't say they're not going to push back on you. I didn't say they're not going to try to change the subject. I didn't say they weren't going to try to change the agenda. I didn't say that, because they're definitely going to, because historically, the civil rights generation, and some of ours to a lesser degree, but they've conditioned these people to think they can change the subject on us. There's the real problem. When you condition people to think that you don't really mean what you say. See, what they're used to, here's the issue with black folks showing up and, raising their voices. Here's the issue with that. When you show up somewhere and it's, crack of this, crack of that. When you sit up there and do that, what you've communicated to those people is, oh, this is another angry nigga who just wants to be seen. People who want to be seen are not interested in, raising their profile in that way. Oh, he just wants to blow off some steam. Well, when you have an agenda, you're not really trying to blow off steam. You have an agenda. You're trying to get something done. So you're not really trying to raise voices like that because you're not trying to blow off steam. That's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to do something a lot more serious. So that doesn't give time for blowing off steam. And that's not your agenda, is to blow off some steam. That's a whole different thing to have, and we have not really, in some places we haven't demonstrated that we can stay, that we're focused, and that's not what we're doing. That's important. I want to do something a little bit different here tonight. I want to do something a little bit different. I know this is going to seem a little bit off the beaten path, but boy, it wouldn't be a complete trip here if I did not tell you all about some of the sights and sounds and experiences that I have had here in New York. You know, it's been about a year since I was last here. So I was here last year. Now I can tell you I was here last year. I interviewed Jadakiss. Great interview. Things went well. I know y'all saw Jada in the movie. By the way, for those of you who showed up and saw the film, I think I heard you all in the theater. I heard y'all when that part of the movie with Jadakiss. Now that you all know the context of it, I heard y'all in the audience cracking up when you heard it. Now that you got the context of it, yeah, I thought the same thing. Trust me, it was on you all's behalf. It was on your behalf. I was trying to get some details, and I know sometimes folks think, boy, am I talking to the feds? So I was trying to get some details, and it's like, okay. And finally, Jada was like, okay, I'm going Yonkers in here. Jada was like, I'm going Yonkers. Okay, on Zoom, Glory, if you're on Zoom, I need you to go ahead and turn your camera on for me. I'm not going to put you up for everybody to see you. But just to make sure we don't have any trolling issues, I just need you to make sure you turn your camera on for me. I'll be the only one who sees you. I can give you about 5 seconds to go ahead and do that. Otherwise, permanent vacation. So, Glory, go ahead and just do that just for you and me. And then we'll be able to go ahead and move on from there. If I can't get anything here in about 3 seconds, I'm going to have to let you go because we got a lot to take care of here tonight. Got a lot of details, want to go into that. All right, Glory is not going to be joining us anymore. So, definitely here, okay, I see there were some folks in the audience there who saw that. So now they know the context of it. When they saw that. It's like, what? They ain't never seen Jada like that before. It's like, yeah, you must have talked to Jason. So now they got the context of it. But yeah, I was standing right outside the doors. When I heard that part coming up, and I said, okay, let me see what they do. As soon as y'all heard it, I heard all of y'all bust out laughing. I said, okay, they got it. Okay, so walking down 7th Street. What is it with me and Sevens? Walking down 7th Street. Will you all please explain to me why it is there was this fella, looked like a lost member of the Migos. He was with this Afro-Latina because she was kind of speaking with a Spanish accent. She was dragging a kid behind her, and by dragging, I do mean drag. So I'm like, okay, baby, it's a little big for an anchor, baby, but do what you do. So, they're saying, is it street or Ave? Y'all know I'm dealing with these folks down here, don't you? Avenue. Times Square. So, nope, Ave. Now I was walking down there. Well, I don't know why they would think I'll be anywhere else. In any case, so I was walking down there. See this chick, see this dude. She dragging this kid. Now, you know in Manhattan, there is a code of, in New York City, there's a code of personal space till you get to Manhattan. There is a code of personal. I don't know what happens on 7th Street, whatever y'all got going on 7th Street. If that's the red light district or whatever, I ain't looking for that kind of action. I'm not looking for that kind of action. So all my moving is daylight and open. So anything that could result in a felony, I ain't really trying to risk it. So just no. But in any case, so going up 7th Street, there's this pizza place, I think it was, or some open shop. I forget what it is. But so this dude and this chick and this kid are coming at me. I'm walking right when I get by this doorway. Please explain this to me. The dude walks to the right of me and goes in the door as I'm passing by. The chick, she don't even move. What? She doesn't even move. Like, she just keeps walking. So I stopped moving. Y'all, she was as close to me as a Coke can. Damn! I mean, she was right up on me. I mean, I'm going to say this directly. Her breasts were touching me. I'm like, okay, she's there. The kid is there. I'm like, what is this? What are you doing? So her dude, I don't know if he spaced out or whatever, but he walked up in there. Yo, chick is just oblivious. I don't know if she figured you must look like you from Louisiana. No personal space at all. I'm like, what the hell is happening in New York City? What is going on here? So it's just no chill, no nothing. So after she bumps into me, I'm just kind of awestruck there for a moment. I'm like, did that just happen? And she, just like I'm nothing, she spins around me like Jordan and goes up in the place. So I'm like, well, welcome to the new New York. Oh, somebody said, Jason, did you check your wallet? No, I got my wallet on me. Oh no, she would have to tackle me to get that. So no, I got my wallet. I'm good on that. So, but no, it would have been difficult because she had a kid in one hand and a cell phone in the other. So unless she one of them chicks with a third arm, that was gonna be a rough thing to do. But I'm like, fellas, is that what New York City is doing now? Y'all letting y'all women bump into dudes? Y'all, is that what New York is doing now? New York is. Y'all talking about they want a Dominican. Is that what the Dominicans is doing? They're doing that now? Because let me tell you, if I had a girl and she was bumping into dudes like that, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to leave you out here. Because New York is always big about personal space, except when you get to Manhattan. There is no personal space in Manhattan. It's a zoo. But yeah, that happened. That happened. Damn near caught pneumonia. So I'm sitting up there and the damn AC units, they got these weird things here in New York where they run water through things. I'm like, all right. So I'm sitting up here, y'all, and the temperature here has been fine. For those of you who came into town, the temperature has been pretty good. It's not cold. The temperature has been pretty stable. But man, I'm sitting up there in my room and I turned the heat on for a little bit. The heat went up to a certain temperature and then the air conditioning turned on with no help from me. It's just, it warms the room up to a certain temperature and then the air conditioning, not the fan, the AC came on. So I'm in here at like midnight. And it goes from being warm to cold up in here. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm getting up. I'm pressing the button on the thermostat. The little ice crystal thing is just sitting there blinking. I mean, just blinking. Got the little, I can't get that damn thing to stop. I'm just hitting the buttons. I couldn't do anything. I'm dying up in here. It's just, what in the hell is going on? I raised the temperature again. Didn't do nothing. The AC is just on. It's like it's possessed, like maximum overdrive. It's just the ghost in the machine. And by the way, so it's the middle of the night, so ain't no building service and nothing. I'm like, oh Lord, worst case scenario. Are you kidding me? So can't do that. So I'm just sitting up here. Eventually, I just turned the AC off. It took it like, I joke you not. It took about 10 minutes for it to go off. So it wasn't like I turned the off button and it was off a minute later. I pressed off and it was like 10 minutes later. I put the thermostat on 77, but it said the current room temperature. And I'm like, I watched it go from 72 to 71 to 70 to 69. I'm like, oh my, is Department of Homeland Security done rigged the damn thermostat? I'm like, are they trying to get me to leave? What is going on? Oh, but y'all, so much has happened to me that I'm ahead of myself. That was the second thing that occurred. The first thing that occurred. Okay, so I get into town. I'm trying to park this big ass luxury SUV. I've been calling the damn parking garage before I get here. I've been calling and calling and calling for hours. They're supposed to be open 24 hours. I wanted to make sure that, I wasn't going to have any issues when I got there. I get there, I'll be damned if that son of a gun ain't sitting by the damn desk, sitting there by the phone. He's speaking in some Middle Eastern accent or something, talking about he been there the whole time. I damn near body slammed him. He's sitting up here asking me if I had my key fob. I said, yes, I do. Please ask me why in the world he jumps in my truck. He's sitting in it. He puts both hands on the steering wheel. And he just sits there for a moment. And I'm just peeking my head around here like, can I help you? Can I assist you with something? Oh, this very nice. Okay. Were you going to take it in the garage or was you just going to sit here and admire it all night at 10 o'clock at night? What were you planning on doing? So it was that situation right there. So I'm like, okay, now I can't get my damn truck out the garage. So is that. So I'm like, okay, if my damn thing ends up, in the Middle East somewhere in pieces, I'm going to be mad as a son of a gun, let me tell you. They're doing just some of anything. I had to unload everything before I did that. So I'm like, okay, New York City, Times Square, it's a zoo. Get to the hotel. I'm talking to this chick at the front desk. She's telling me about the room and stuff. She tells me how to get there, where the elevators are. I go to the room. She tells me I smell nice. I tell her, thank you very much. I'm not accepting side chick applications till November. So bag about me. Go up to the room. Folks, I'm a single man. I'm a grown man. I had the worst experience that a grown man can have when he checks into a hotel, luxury or otherwise. To the men out there, to the grown men, you have had this experience, you have had this nightmare. They told you what the room was. You always choose the one kind of room. That's the only kind of room you ever choose. Went up there, opened the door. Please explain to me why in the hell I saw double beds. Damn! Opened the door expecting to see a king-size bed. Opened the door and I see 2 double beds. So let me get this straight. I have done 22 hours of driving. 22. I just finished with Joseph bin Laden sitting up here looking at my truck like it's a snack. Fighting with all this equipment to get it up out of here. Had to get my own luggage cart. So you're paying, y'all, all I'm going to tell you is 4 digits a night. Times Square is unfreaking real. All I'm going to say is 4 digits a night. I'll just put it like that. Which cologne? Clive Christian #1. 4 digits a night. So I had to do my own luggage cart. And I'm talking about I had to take it out on the sidewalk, okay? Wasn't nobody, the woman goes over there, she gets the damn luggage cart and comes and hands it to me. I was just so ready to go to sleep that I just said, okay, I went out and I had to put my own stuff on the luggage cart. I'm talking about for 4 figures a night. This is what you get in New York and Times Square for 4 figures a night. This is what you get. So I lowered everything up on the luggage cart. Then so I had to go to the room first. I go all the way up the elevator. Finally get to the room, open the door, and I see 2 twin beds. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So needless to say, my blood pressure spikes. I have a receipt that says king bed. Don't y'all know that I went back through my emails? On my way driving up here, I had received another email saying to confirm my reservation. When I got back down to the front desk, don't you know that the second email they gave me showed for twin beds? What? Now, my first email said king bed. They said, before I got here, I get a confirmation email that's been changed to double beds. I go down there and tell her, "Excuse me, ma'am, I think I got a key for the wrong room. As a matter of fact, I'm very certain I did. And I know I didn't accidentally choose twin beds." She sits there, she looks for a minute. "Oh, if you make your reservation at a certain time, the system, when it's updating, it'll change the rooms that you're in." I'm like, okay, nobody called me to tell me that that happened. And I didn't ask for it. And it's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm not trying to sleep on some Sesame Street bed. Needless to say, I wound up having to spend the night on that. She said in the morning they see about changing that. In the morning, nobody called me then either, so I had to go down to the front desk and fight with them about that. That's when you find out that damn me Comic-Con is in town. People, have you ever seen so many white folk dressed up like Wonder Woman, Swamp Thing, and a bunch of anime characters in one place? It was weird. It was weird. It was. I mean, that's their thing. Okay, but there they were. I'm talking about going into the restaurant. This nigga looks like an out of shape plastic man walking up in there and whatnot. They had their damn hero boots on. It's just like okay, I opened my film on the wrong damn weekend. So I should have checked the calendar to see what was going on. So it was that. I got on the elevator. I was with a white woman and a little Asian female. And when the doors closed, I asked them, "Are y'all here for Comic-Con?" People, the little Asian chick said, "No." Is that racist? What? She said that to me. I wanted to say, no, this is. But, yeah, so I was just like, so I was just curious, are y'all here for Comic-Con? She said, "No. Is that racist?" So I'm like, okay. I'm like, "Little girl, I'm not even from here. You don't want to start this. Believe me, you don't want to start this." So that happened. Okay. So I get to my room. It's the next day. And I'm sitting up here. They move me to the room I'm supposed to be in. Okay. So I get here the next day and I'm looking. It's lunchtime. I hadn't really eaten anything since the previous day. It's lunchtime, and I'm trying to figure out where I want to go to eat. Times Square, you got a bunch of places. I love New York as far as food is concerned because they don't have a bunch of bad food. I'm talking about as far as bland stuff. And, if you go to a place, usually they're on top of their game for it. No, it's not Louisiana, but it's not terrible either. All right. I'm trying to figure out where I want to eat. I'm looking at the phone, and I hear... Sounds like a commotion outside, but it's New York City, so I'm not thinking anything of it. Then the commotion is getting louder. Angry voices. Then the commotion is getting even louder. And I'm like, okay, that's not the typical New York nonsense. This is something else. So I go to the window to open up the window to see if I can look around. Of course, this is New York City, so they have those brackets on the windows so you can only open up the windows to a certain extent. Can't get nothing. But I'm hearing this noise, this racket getting louder. So I do get to the window, folks. I'm looking down the street, like on the next corner. I see 4 Palestinian flags going by. Damn! I'm seeing a group of people on bullhorns. I'm seeing people honking. I'm seeing people yelling. I'm seeing people chanting. I said, did I arrive just in time for the damn Palestinian uprising in New York City? So let me get this straight. My truck is being held hostage by Nikki bin Laden. Y'all done held me hostage overnight on somebody's little old twin bed. I can't find nothing to eat. The damn Middle Eastern protests just kicked off, and I haven't even been here 24 hours yet. Comic-Con is busting my hump. I got a film to open Saturday. I got real things to see about. And that's what's happening. I'm talking about without me ever leaving my room, people. All this was happening without me ever leaving my room. Are you kidding me? So then it's the day after that. I venture out to go find something to eat or whatever. You go someplace. Got folks bumping into me, doing things like that. You know, there was a guy who was at the Chase building. Y'all know the Chase building down here. They got like the 4 ATMs in the lobby. He's inside. He's a little white dude. It was nighttime and he's inside. It's like imagine a person who is imitating as if he's got chopsticks trying to catch a fly like Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid. This guy was inside the ATM area at the Chase Bank, and it's the middle of the night, and his hands, he's imitating as if he's got a pair of chopsticks and he's trying to catch a fly in the air, you know. He just, I'm just like, it's a good thing I ain't got to use the ATM at Chase, because imagine trying to use the ATM and this little bastard is up in there with you while you're doing that. So that's going on. Like I said, okay, that's a thing that happens. Okay, that occurred. So sitting there watching that, no need for a mental health check in New York City. Not anymore around here, you don't. So yeah, I'm sitting there watching that and seeing that. I'm like, okay, damn, Louisiana's starting to look a little bit better. It's starting to look better by the minute. We ain't got niggas running around here with chopsticks, with imaginary chopsticks, trying to catch imaginary flies. We don't have that going on, at least. Yeah, they caught me in the middle of that. They sure did. Then you had the folks sitting on each other's laps. What is this thing going on in New York, y'all, with dudes sitting in other dudes' laps? What is this? What is going on? Somebody explain to me this dude sitting in other dudes' laps thing. Because that one right there got me. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You know what else I don't understand? The fellas walking around with their black skinny jeans, the jeggings on with the white flowers on them. What is that? All these dudes I've seen so many dudes up here, they're wearing like black pants with white flowers on them. Like, is that a political movement or something? They're wearing black pants with like pajama pants with white flowers on them. I went to different places and whatnot, and here they come skipping by with black pants with white flowers on them. And I'm sitting here like, okay, is this some type of new movement we don't know about? What's happening? What is happening? No, it wasn't the anime nerds. It wasn't nothing like that. It's dudes running around looking like they're trying to get a record deal. They're wearing black pants with white flowers. So I'm sitting over here watching that. And I said, okay. Messed around and found out, it's like, oh boy, they hit me with the mandatory gratuities again. You don't get a choice anymore downtown. You don't get a choice anymore in Times Square. Hell, in New York, really, you don't get a choice on gratuities. It's a stick up. As soon as you walk in the door, it's a stick up. Denim tears? Denim tears? What in the hell is that? Denim tears? Okay, why is a grown man walking around with flowers on his hands, though? I'm like, and I mean, these fellas were walking like they G'd up, y'all. They was walking like Young Thug. They walking like they G'd up. denim tears. I never, okay, y'all, the new niggas, just what you want me to say? What I'm supposed to do with the new niggas? I don't know what to tell you about them. If this is high fashion, take me back to low fashion. This is what the new niggas is doing. No, I'm good on that. I'm good on that. So I went to one restaurant. Y'all. Tell me why this happened. So I see this white family coming here. I've seen so much stuff, y'all. It's just, I've seen so much. And the white folk was showing out. They were showing out when I got here. Was at this restaurant. I see this white family come through. I assume they're a family. It was a woman, it was a man, and it was two kids. One looked like he was about 9 years old. Another one looked like they were about 12 years old. Please explain to me why the four of them walked in. Then about 5 minutes later, I hear, I got my back turned. I turn back around. The like 10 or 12-year-old, the 12-year-old, he literally is laying down in front of the doors at the restaurant there. What? He's literally just laying down. I'm talking about face down with covering his head. He just lays, and this kid is like, he about damn near 5 feet tall. He's just laying down right in front of the doors with his hands over his head. And his mom and his dad are sitting there. They're trying to coax him. And they're doing the white folk thing where they're standing over him like, little Billy, you shouldn't do this, Billy. Billy, come on now. You're doing the most. Billy, don't. They were doing that right there, y'all. I'm sitting here like, are you kidding? What? He just bam. I mean, hit the deck, hands over his head, and he ain't getting up. You ain't moving me. So that happened. And I'm just sitting here looking at this like, it's like, I feel like that new Ace, it was that new ASAP Rocky. I think it's ASAP Rocky got a video, Taylor Swift. I felt like I was in the Taylor Swift music video. I felt like I was in that with all the stuff that was happening to me. So I'm just like, what's the story here? What's the story here? So that happened. Then I was walking down the street trying to, and y'all know New York has these, every sidewalk has a cage around it. And they've always got this scaffolding around it everywhere you go. I don't know if that's to catch the suicide jumpers or whatever. There's this chick built like Honey Boo Boo walking in front of me with a kid. And I'm probably going to post the picture because I took a picture of it. Jason, you took a picture? I damn sure did.
And deal with it, nigga.
So she's walking in front of me. Now, you all know in New York City on the sidewalk, it ain't a whole lot of room to begin with. You got two-way traffic coming. Then you got a heifer who's as wide as 3 people, and she got a kid with her. And then she moving slow. I'm talking about for every step she took, every 3 steps I'm taking, she trying to take 1. She's holding up the damn world. She got on some big pea green sweater on. She's walking as slow as she can. You know, I'm just behind her. I wanted to tap her on the shoulder and say, hey, you dropped your wallet. So she can turn around and go look for it and I'll get your ass out of the way. So it was like that, y'all. It was torture. You know, I could have crawled faster than this heifer was walking. It was insane. It really, really was. Them and the people with the baby strollers. I'm just behind her like, oh, life in the slow lane. So it's like that. It was like that. And I'm trying to get back where I was. It's like, that was after I finally found me something to eat. I'm like, okay, can I get back where I am? Damn, no, nigga, you can't. I would have been better off just walking the whole way around the whole block to get where I was going. So she was holding up the world over there. That happened. What else occurred? Tell me why some of these cab drivers are driving up on the damn curb. Damn! That's another thing. You all need to build posts everywhere because some of these cab drivers are out of control up here now. They were always bad. You got some of these cats now. I mean, they just on some straight renegade stuff. They don't give a damn about regulations, crosswalk, nothing. Oh, they are doing the most now. That is it. I hope the cabs up here come with a damn crash helmet because they're doing some unbelievable stuff up here now. And the garbage trucks. New York City now has the most gangster garbage trucks I've ever seen. They run 24 hours a day now, and they've got these they have these fluorescent lights on the side of them. What is up with the I guess they can just be lit. They got them on all the time. They never turn them off. Y'all, New York City's garbage trucks got fluorescent lights on the side of them. I'm talking about like fully bright lit, so they're just always visible for whatever they're doing. I'm talking about the most gangster garbage trucks. They're not scared to make left turns. They do everything, man. These garbage trucks up here do everything. It's like the fella couldn't make it at Uber. Okay, let me go drive a garbage truck here. They doing everything. Oh, they stop where they want to. They make left turns. They get right in front of you. They get right behind you. It's incredible. It really is. Oh, they doing the most up here. And I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to open a film, y'all. I'm just trying to open a film. So, man, I've had the sights and the sounds of New York City. I've been going through it up here, so. But otherwise, it's been a good experience. You know, it's good to come through New York and come check it out for a day or two and then get your ass on up out of here because this is no place to stay. It really, really ain't. But other than that, like I say, it's been cool. Everybody trying to smoke weed up here now. Everywhere you go, they're trying to smoke some. So, all right, let me get over here on Zoom. I got Flex over here on Zoom. Flex, go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Hey, how you doing, Jason? I just wanted to call in and let you know that I was there last night. The film
I saw you.
I was just there to soak up all the information for my own projection in life. So thank you again for that film.
Well, thank you very much for showing up, brother. I appreciate that. I saw you out there in the audience, so definitely appreciate you showing up for that. It was good to be able to meet all of y'all there in person. I hope you had a good time and you were comfortable. Try to do something a little bit different this time and get something a little bit different than we usually do. Were folks out there asking you why y'all were there?
Well, my Uber driver, because I had to take an Uber, it was bad traffic. I guess they were doing something at the Javits Center again. So yeah, the Uber asked us, what was doing over there. I just told him we're doing an 8 a.m. film. He pretended like he knew what that was. So.
Yeah, boy, they're good for that. Boy, they are good for that. They are good for that. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, man. That's good to have. I'll let you have the last word.
Looking forward to more things like this. I really enjoyed it. As an immigrant coming from Jamaica, my people don't do this, so it was, it was enjoying.
Good. Good. I want you to have that. That's the most important thing right there. You need to be around like-minded people because that's what you got wife and kids for. It's about the future.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that too. There was one lady who was in the audience. There was a woman who was in the audience. She was like 4 or 5 rows out. She was in the middle by herself. She was just sitting there all alone. I don't know who that was, but there was one woman who was in the audience. She was just out there by herself. And I don't know who that was. So if anybody knows who that was, she was just sitting out there in the middle, like 4 or 5 rows there. Nobody else was sitting around her. So I'm like, okay. Nobody else was sitting around her. So if she offended all of y'all, let me know. So whoever she was who was out there by herself, I'm like, okay, so she must have upset everybody because there was nobody else around it. But that was important too. I'm glad to be able to do that kind of thing. I'm glad to have that available. Hope it sets an example. Before we started this, somebody said a stalker. Oh, I had those too, by the way. I sure did. I had those too, by the way. Kim said it was probably her. Okay. Well, Kim, maybe that's what you get for showing up alone. So, well, then I hope your future man was watching. At least he can get that available for you. Shout out Nia on Venmo. Thank you very much, Nia. I appreciate you as always there. Big shout out here to everyone who contributed to 8 a.m. Thank you to all of you there, first and foremost here. You know, you could do anything. You could have been doing anything, but you definitely have been contributing to that. And I hope that I succeeded in making something that shows you it's light years. You know, if you take a look at 7 a.m. and then take a look at 8 a.m., I think you can see it is light years apart from where we started to where we are now. We've gone from a point where we were just a bunch of noisy folk on the internet. Now we got presidential candidates on the run. We got the attention of everybody here. But when we started this kind of thing here, you know, I've always tried to punch above our weight. So we started at the SVA Theater. Now we ended up in Times Square. That's how we're doing it now. In places where you can't be missed. And oh yeah, and we didn't need the corporate media to retweet us. We didn't need them to do nothing. We got this to grow on its own. We have our own films. We got our own media. We got our own thing. And oh yeah, by the way, it's actually competent and substantive. Is the kind of thing you're not ashamed of. So that's important too. Folks asking about, you know, when is it going to be available for DVD and streaming and stuff once we finish with the rest of this, because I've got something, I think I want to do something different. For my theatrical screenings after last night, I think I want to do something different now. I think I want to do something different. So if that is the case there, and I do that, I think you all will like this. It'll be a little bit more novel than what we've done before. So I think I may want to do that as well. So I've got an idea about how exactly I want to do it. So I'm going to see about that. Okay, I got AJ on Zoom. Hello, AJ.
Hi, Jason. Just congratulations to your opening out in New York. That was amazing. Of course, I'm in Dallas, so I didn't get to see that in New York. But two questions for you. Are you bringing it to Dallas? And number two, have you ever considered, like, all of your content that you've done just on YouTube, from the business to this channel as well, have you considered making this content into like downloadable DVDs that we could purchase also? We always talk about how, you know, the internet just may go down, always having something like hard copy. Have you considered doing that? Because this is legacy that you're building and that you speak on, and I just think it'll be a great thing.
Short answer to your second question is yes, years ago. So that's the short answer to your second question.
Okay.
The answer to your first question there, I'm just going to be brutally honest. Things have changed radically since I did my last film. Remember, I don't do films every year. I don't do it all the time. I started on 8 a.m. back 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I started on it in 2019. And then we all know what happened in 2019. Mm-hmm. By the time 2020 gets going, you know, that really threw us for a major curve. So everything was kind of frozen for 3 years before I could even get started again. So what happened, what people saw last night was the culmination of 5 years of work. So it's really been, you know, but I wanted to finish that. I didn't want to go do something else. I wanted to finish that work. But in the meantime, things have changed. The folk we used to deal with, we don't have the same options with them we used to have. Mm-hmm. We used to be able to screen on weekends with them. They don't do that anymore. And that's become an issue. So I'm going to have to navigate differently on it, which is why I'm saying we're going to do some things a little bit differently. Okay. I will be in certain places, but to be totally honest with you, my biggest issue is making sure it's available for folks out there at home and everything. So we will have some more screenings, but we're going to have to do things a little bit differently because the theater situation has changed. It's changed radically, and you know it's different now. I don't know if I know in some of the cases it's because of the majors. What has happened is the majors have talked to some of the chains we were using, and basically it's like they don't want them making they want to have the theaters on the weekends to themselves. Okay. And the leverage they use is if you don't give us all the screens to ourselves, we won't send you nothing. So that's a strong arm to use on independent theaters and things. That's a strong arm to use on them. But that's going on, things like that. So we're going to have to move a little bit differently. But one way or another, you're going to have it there for you. New York has validated it. If the folks thought it was janky or whatever, they would let you know because New York's got no filter. I think it's definitely, I think definitely they speak for it. I would want to see it. So, but it's going to be somewhere. You all are going to hear where the list of it is. So I'm going to try to make it as available as we can. But more importantly, I want it to be available for you to bring home. That's going to be the most important thing for me now, because I have a different cut that I'm doing of the film now, which is not the theatrical version. I have a different cut of it. And I think you all are going to, I think you're going to really like that. I've just got so much going on with that. I think you'll like that.
Well, I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm excited. So whatever your decision is, I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. But yes, to the number 2 question, yes, if you do that, I'm purchasing everything because I have a little one and I want her to be able to hear all of this good game. Because if I had this years ago, be totally different levels. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your support, AJ. I appreciate that.
All right.
Yeah, we definitely need to have tangible medium. We cannot rely just on these websites, platforms, services, or whatever, because they could snap it off at any moment. All right, I got B. Davis here on Zoom. What's on your mind, B?
Going on, brother Jason? Hey, I was calling in. I was there last night. I'm from Miami, Florida, but I was there at the screening, 8 a.m. Appreciated it. It was awesome. I wanted a patron, so I was down in the front row, or in the third row. But I did have to confirm. I was on the subway, and I did see some of those Wonder Woman ladies you was talking about, so I was confused. So
yeah, what'd you say? You thought it was the usual New York craziness? Like, oh no, they're on a whole new level now.
Yeah, I thought they were doing something different. I'm like, man, I didn't think it was that sick, but it was Comic-Con, so okay, cool.
Dude,
I was wondering what was going on.
In the subways, they was down there fighting again. I'm like, okay, let me get up out of here. So they doing what they do up there.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, but I definitely learned a lot. Appreciate it, and that's my final word. I was just saying, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you very much for coming up. I'm glad it was worth your while. Please get your DVDs, streaming, or anything else there. I think it's going to be worth it. So definitely, we have folks coming from where we have folks coming from Canada, Louisiana, Miami. So it was definitely that type of event. Very good vibe was going on. Very good vibe was happening. People looking good there. Folks were sitting up here asking y'all all kinds of questions. I like that too, by the way. I like that too, where, that's a power dynamic for you all. That's a power dynamic for you all. That's the ability for you all to be there and to see that and, to be a part of that as well. Kim, by the way, Kim, is that Kim from Canada? Because the name is familiar there. Is that Kim from Canada? That might be why nobody was sitting around you. It's like, okay, we don't know this Canadian chick. If that was Kim from Canada, then that explains what I was seeing. Because I'm like, okay, as soon as I said that, everybody kind of just spread out from them. I'm like, so if we don't fool with you, might be that kind of situation. Might be that. But sights and sounds, like I say, it's definitely, if you've never been to New York. And I had some people there who had never been to New York before. I did have a couple of folks there who had never been to New York before. They had never come through. They had never seen it. So that was good. Somebody asked, will it be on Blu-ray this time? Yes. Will 8 a.m. be on Blu-ray this time? Yes. So yes, 8 a.m. will be on Blu-ray. Yes, it will. We've already gotten that lined up and everything. So yes, that will be done. Yeah, I try to take advantage of the opportunities I can. Kim, get on Zoom, Kim. Kim, get on Zoom. I thought that was you. Get on Zoom, Kim. I thought that was you. I knew something was up. I'm like, wait a minute, was that you? There you go. Okay, get on Zoom, Kim. Come here. We need to chop something up real quick. Jason was business matchmaking. Hell yeah. Look, y'all, I'm not the guy who talk about it. I'm the guy who be about it. I don't just have anybody showing up there. Like I said, we got resourceful people. We got folks who, at the very least, they know, not they're pretending, but they do know something you might not. You know, we got folk like that, especially in New York. Look, New York is a hustle city because by definition, the damn economic environment is so oppressive you got to be. So it really is a meat grinder in that kind of way right there. So if you ain't rising, you're rolling. And it's simple as that. But we got a lot of industrious people here. I cannot say we are irrelevant in New York. I can't say that. We got a lot of industrious people. Maybe some of it's not organized. The other thing is folk trying to do something with nothing. No. There's the part right there that's got to be circumvented. Trying to do something with nothing. No, you need to do something with something, not something with nothing. So we got professional people. We got folks who, anything you are looking to do or anything you trying to be involved with, I'm telling you, we got folk who do that, especially in New York. We keep selling that short, man. I meant when I said everybody and their mama got a realtor's license in New York. Do you take it seriously? Everybody and their mama got one. So, you know, talking about skilled trades and stuff like that, it really comes down to, I think folks are shell shocked, they're shy, they're hesitant. They talk about these things and they kind of just sit up here and, you know, psych themselves out of it. That's the killing part about it. They kind of psych themselves out of it. Hello, Kim. Kim. Unmute yourself, Kimberly.
Sorry. Hi.
Hi, me ass.
How you doing?
Where have you?
What do you mean?
Where have you been, ma'am?
I popped out 2 kids. So I've been very busy.
Look at this woman here. How are you? How is she enjoying the married life?
Good. I've been married for 6 years now. So
Okay.
yeah, that's why I'm in New York, because that's where my husband's from. So I moved here 5 years ago.
Okay, so you actually moved down.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not in Canada anymore.
No.
Okay. Well, good. You got the hell up out of there.
Hey.
But then she comes to New York. So okay, she left Canada and then ends up in New York. I'm out of the frying pan into the microwave. So okay, what you say?
Yeah, I thought it'd be better to come here because we also needed help when the kids were born, and my in-laws have been a great help. So
well, that's good. That's good. That's very important. There, she was sitting out there all by herself. I'm like, who is that woman in the middle?
The crook, I'm coming. You know, I didn't get to make Race War even though I bought my ticket. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'm definitely making it to this one. So
now,
yeah,
folks,
I'm like, even if I gotta go by myself,
y'all gotta understand. Like, I spook these people. I spook these people at these theaters. I do stuff that folk don't do.
No, I had just gotten married at that time, so it was the budget was a bit funny. So I'm like, you know what? I'll be there instead.
Well, no, I'm talking about the theaters. I spook people at these theaters. Oh. So when you talk about race war stuff,
I didn't even get to see you.
We spooked them
I
at the.
heard you.
No, we spooked them at the SVA.
To, like, rush off.
You know what's that? Vice called the SVA to find out who we were and why we were doing the film and stuff like that. So Vice TV contacted them. That's why for those of you who got the special edition discs of Race War, you saw that we called out Vice. They sent one of their producers and she was in the audience.
Yeah, I heard about that.
We called her. I said, hello, how you doing? Because they were calling the theater asking who we were and how did we pay for the theater? You know, how did we pay for it? They literally were calling the theater SVA and asking them how we paid for it. So SVA called me and said, by the way, do you know something about Vice? They've been calling us and asking us who you are and how you paid for the theater and how much you paid. And I said, did you tell them anything? They said, no, we don't give out that kind of information, but we wanted to let you know. By the way, folks have been calling, but that was one of them who called. So that's the kind of thing that happens. So I spook people when I do films. I spook people when I show up and stuff. And for y'all saw last night, I talked last night in the Times Center the same way I talked to you all here. I talked the exact same way. It's going to be the same damn thing regardless. Had some issues, by the way, but other than that, I'm glad you came down. I had a feeling that was you. I had a feeling that was you out there. I wasn't 100% certain. I didn't want to sit there and say, is that Kim? I think it is. I'm like, but wait a minute.
I was
just trying to figure out why would she come by herself? Because I'm like, okay, I know she's married now, so she shouldn't be there by herself. And I'm like, I guess everybody just don't fool her.
That's okay. Yeah, I got my mother-in-law to watch the kids, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for a few hours and. Yeah.
Oh boy, great. Well, Kim, thank you very much for coming down. I appreciate that. Kim, email me.
Okay.
Heifer, I still got your Race War posters.
Oh, I messaged messaged you about it, but I don't think you ever responded.
Yes, I did. Don't lie.
You did?
Put some
Okay,
respect
I'll
on my
have to
name.
message
Don't
again,
lie.
sorry.
You the one got married and you scared your husband gonna see you in the inbox with me. Tell him I ain't sliding in DMs. I'm just trying to get the post. Y'all, every time these chicks get married, that's when they show up at the Black Channel until they get married. As soon as they get married, they disappear. When their relationship get on the rocks, they show up again. They answer your messages till the man says, "Is that you talking that Jason Black on there?" Next thing you know, it's like she's like, "Ooh, I'm trying to save my marriage, Jason.
No comments.
I can't respond to you, Jason. I'm trying to save my marriage. I can't get out in these streets." Meanwhile, I'm sitting with your autographed posters now for 6 damn years.
I didn't know. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Ma'am, I keep my word. So your posters are still sitting in my closet right now.
Okay.
Both of them.
All right.
They are still sitting in my closet, rolled up in that tube to this day.
Okay.
So I feel I'm either gonna get them to her, or I'm gonna bust somebody in the head over here out here on Madison Avenue with it. One or the other. I don't know which one's gonna happen. But email me or message me on Facebook, because I think we're still friends on Facebook. Okay. I think
Yeah,
one way
I
or the other.
messaged you yesterday when I had to leave shortly after the Q&A because I have a young infant and I had to rush home to deal with her. So I did message you to apologize that I didn't stay for the whole Q&A. So just check your message. So I can
there
message
you are.
you again.
Okay, yeah, you did. Okay,
right.
you did.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, you can just send me your information and I'll get that to you.
Okay. Sounds good. Great film, by the way. The opening intro, the opening music was great. I was already hyping up.
Y'all like that on a high tech system. I figured you all were gonna like
nice.
that. I figured you all were gonna like that. So we're serious business. We're serious business.
Yeah, it was a really great film. Really enjoyed every minute of it. It was worth it. I was really happy. I left happy. I came home happy. I was telling my in-laws about it. I was like so excited, and yeah, so.
I'll give you all one more piece of information about that here. Thanks, Kim. I appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you again.
Yes.
You all liked 8 a.m., right? Everyone liked 8 a.m. They liked what they saw. It was visually impressive. It was musically impressive. It was, the lineup was impressive and everything else. That's great. That's wonderful. Now, one more detail. Not scared to say this. One more detail. I did most of that myself. Don't let people sit up here and intimidate you and make you think about what you can't do or whatever. You got more abilities than you give yourself credit for. By the way, if you like the way it sounded and you like the way it was heard and everything, by the way, I did that. People were asking me, some of the folks were wondering if I used AI on there. Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I did. If you haven't learned how to use Runway, it'll cost you. It will cost you. But by the way, going forward here, yeah, I've got AI in there. I did have B-roll that I paid for this time. So I did have some B-roll because there was some other stuff I wanted in there. So I did have some B-roll I paid for this time. So we kind of just went all out on everything. It got expensive. I'm not gonna lie. It did start to get pricey up in there. But we're not doing bargain basement stuff, so that was important. And certainly with the renaissance that we're experiencing now with AI and image editing in that way, and image formulation and creation, you have to spend some extra money if you're gonna get the really good stuff. And get the stuff that's really impressive and really works well. And if you're able to get it to tweak it and give it some good images to go on. I don't just do text to image, I do image to video. So if you really get all that together and get that right, you got a dynamo there. And I want to see more of that kind of thing. I want to see more of that. And now I can show you, hey, I got a proof of concept. I can show you it as a motion picture. Y'all saw it on the big screen. It doesn't break down. It doesn't look all crazy. Yeah, I'm not just talking about it. By the way, I can show you. stop telling yourself what you can't do. You're not happy with what you see out there in the media. You're not happy with what you see other folks doing there. Take out some time. You have an opportunity to be able to show by your way. You don't have to tolerate what other people are or are not doing. My take on AI is that copyright is going to experience some issues, but AI is really only going to be helpful to truly creative people. It's another tool. AI is not going to make uncreative people look great. It's going to make creative people look better. That's all it's going to do. If you're an uncreative person with silly, boring ideas, AI is going to suddenly save you. Any more than if you're a person who doesn't know how to make a good movie, having a film camera with 8K resolution is not suddenly going to make you a great filmmaker. That's not the way it works. But I want y'all to know, by the way, for those of you who were there, you heard it, you heard how it sounds, you heard how it looks, it's prime time ready. Well, yeah, it is. And this is what we all should be doing, whether it's a cafe on Long Island or whether it's a film in Times Square. This is the standard we need to hold ourselves to. For all of us. Excellence isn't just a motto, it's a way of life. Because we have an obligation to pass on something better to our kids than we had. It's not just a good idea, it's an obligation. I'd like to take a moment to thank each and every one of you. Those of you who've been a part of what I do now for going on 2 decades. Those of you who were there for 7 a.m., the little indie that could. For those of you who said, you know what, this time, can we talk about Black economics and entrepreneurship, something that usually is only the purview of your white YouTubers and your white corporations or your white filmmakers? Can we talk about that? A room full of Black people simply talking about the mechanics of owning our economy. Who in the world would want to see that? And we just showed, there's a lot of us. Don't fool yourself into thinking there isn't. There's a lot of us. And you all have helped make that possible. You all have helped make that possible. So I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you who have been a part of this, who have fed into this, who have invested in this. Thank you for your faith in me, in what I do, in my ability as a messenger, because as I've always said, I'm just the messenger. All of you are the message that I came to bring. You are the message. And I hope that I have articulated you well. That was very important to me. So thanks to all of you who came out there. We're moving on to DC next and some other places, so be looking for that. Folks are asking, Jason, are you going to be in DC? I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. That's very important here as well. And if you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the haven of intelligent Black thought. From sea to shining sea. We do this every weekend on holidays and some days in between. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you have not been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go there and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, including our links to 8 a.m. More is coming here, so I've got some ideas about what I want to do going forward. Keep your eyes and ears open. I think you'll be interested. I would like to thank all of you for joining me, not just tonight, but all the previous yesterdays that you've been here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your steadfastness. There used to be people who mocked you about that pro-Black stuff, that Black empowerment stuff, telling you what we weren't going to get and what we weren't going to be able to do and what wasn't going to happen. And now you don't see any of those folk talking so big now, do you? Not at all. When you all were standing in front of the theater in Times Square, wasn't a whole bunch of trash talking going on against you, was there? Oh, yeah. And we might not be done, not just yet. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.